Can you believe that it's Wednesday already? We just have 2 days left in this week. I know. I look pretty. It's a different look, yeah. All right, so I really don't know what September is pushing to, but we are halfway through the month already. Formally, we welcome you to Jasiri. You know the drill, and like the Black Eyed Peas song goes, let's get it started in here. Let's get it started in here. Don't forget to join the conversation via social media. We are at News Central TV. And today, yes, we are ready to hear what you have to say. Call us on 0705 572 7272.
But you know that someone is, the word I want to use, I cannot use it on morning TV, but you know that someone is something when they bald, they look fine. Braids, they look fine.
Come on.
Wig, they look fine. You guys know the word.
Oh, wow.
You think we're not going to talk about it?
I think when I saw this, what you got?
I didn't know it was you.
What
I heard the voice.
precipitated the decision?
Yeah.
They say necessity.
It's the mother of invention.
It was necessity. I think, guys, I didn't wake up early today. So everything was just, and not luckily, Nonso sorted me out.
If you look this good, just rolling out of bed.
Honestly,
oh yeah. If you look this good,
even
just
when you
come
whipped
on.
it out, I was like, huh? Who's gonna wear that?
Is that me?
Ooh, you, me? He said, don't worry. When I'm done, and you see. And truly, the ladies came into makeup.
Oh no, come on.
Come
on, Kat.
In fact, Annie heard me, but she didn't.
I was like,
see
that's not
Catherine.
Catherine. No, you see, I like good things, and I always say, you look fantastic.
You look great. And I think that's one of the things I like about being a woman at times, is that ability to change who you are. I remember when on social media, that challenge, what's his name? DMX's song. There was Letitia and Brenda. And I think to myself, wait, if I think about all my hairstyles, sometimes different hairstyles come with different
personalities.
And there's some hairstyles I wear, you know that I've entered the building
right now. Yes.
No, we have to know. It depends whether it's Tolu or Reina.
Reina comes out. When she wears her red hair, Reina
Reina comes out.
That's hair.
I need to see the hair. I haven't seen the hair.
that hair in a while.
Because it's not everyday hair.
Is it straight? What does it look like?
It makes me, I don't know.
There's a name for the hair.
Reina.
Then there's another one she has.
Please, we move on. We move on now. No, I like being able to change. I like being like a chameleon. I like that. Yeah. All right. Now, before we tell you how our First Lady is working...
Honestly, I almost said...
Let me try again. Wait. Lola, hold on. Before we tell you how our First Lady is working to bring about national unity, we'd like to share the women we are crushing on today. I get started. Unfortunately, my own is sort of like a sad note, but I have to. For me, my Woman Crush Wednesday today has to be Gisele Pelicot, the 72-year-old mother of 3 and grandmother who has faced her husband of 51 years and the men he recruited to rape her after drugging her for nearly a decade. She waived her anonymity. Let me say that again. She waived her anonymity so that the men on trial would not be able to hide their faces or their names. Now, the heavy sedatives that her husband had been giving her crumbled into her dinner, left Gisele with such severe memory loss that she actually thought she had Alzheimer's. The couple's divorce was finalized last month, and Gisele has sat in court throughout the trial along with her adult children who are supporting her. In total, the number of attackers is believed to be 72, with a 2-year-long investigation unable to identify all of them. Now, the accused men who range in age from 21 years old to 68 include a counselor, a nurse, fireman, IT worker, prison guard, a journalist, her neighbor, and an HIV-positive man who actually went back 3 times. Gisele is my woman crush because I cannot imagine the strength and the willpower she has had to be able to sit there and listen to some of these men who are also now claiming to be victims themselves as well. Her husband has not taken the stand as of yet. One of the men claimed to be a victim and said that the husband told her that she was she was consenting and playing along. He just never bothered to ask her consent. The husband's word was enough for him that he actually said he too is a victim.
This is the problem when morality becomes relative. I don't like relativism because there isn't any line on either side. Where do you draw the line? If everyone says, hey, listen, there isn't a central truth, there is my truth. We all get to have our truth. Like a guy says, you can go into a married man's house, sleep with his wife, and then claim that you're the victim because she's somehow complicit, even though she was unconscious.
Unconscious. How do you sleep with a woman? You know she's unconscious. Because she's not participating.
She's not responsive.
She was faking being
and that even makes marriage very questionable. Because that means a lot of women in their marriages are not even safe with their partners.
Do you know how many women are raped in their marriages?
This is something that happened to her without her knowledge.
Can I tell you, she's not the first. I know of a story. She's not the first from the U.S. where the husband had been drugging the wife and raping her and putting the videos online. But I don't want us to go away from the fact that this is an absolutely courageous woman.
Yes.
The fact that she's sitting there and she said, I could have been anonymous. This whole trial could have happened without the world knowing anything. But I chose to say, you know what? I want you to know my name. I want you to know my face. And I want every single one of these men to also have their faces and their names shown. So that decision... I have goosebumps. I have not stopped thinking about her at least twice a day since the story broke. Because I'm just thinking, what happens when she goes to sleep at night?
Well, it shines a light on the fact that probably this silent strength of hers is what triggered or what made the husband decide to, in a way, try to force her hand.
Break her down.
She is a strong woman. Even when you look at her in the pictures, you see
she doesn't look like a victim. She's not some frail.
Yes, you see her like a pillar of strength, and I'm so incredibly glad that she did this because she gives other women the strength.
Honestly,
to be able to come out.
I have goosebumps.
You cannot.
How did the story break? How did she find out this was happening to her?
So about 2 years ago, the police knocked on her door and told her. The story broke because the husband was caught trying to film under the skirts of a young girl. A security guard reported him to the police, and they started investigating. When they now got his phone and access to his laptop, they found a folder. Ask me what he named the folder. Abuses.
No.
He actually named the folder abuses. They found the folder, and all of a sudden they just start seeing videos of his wife and different men. And then I also have to say, we hear it, but I don't think we think about it enough about the officers who work in special crimes, in sexual crimes, who work with, who work and investigate abuses against children. Many of them struggle because the things they're constantly exposed to, their mental health. So people have to sit down and look and watch these videos and identify and you know, zoom into the men and try to see their faces. And 50-something are on trial, but they still have not identified about 20-something of them.
It's sad to know, but these are women that are doing their own bit in their side of the world. All right, my own woman crush, everybody is aware. She didn't do anything she didn't go through anything as traumatizing, even though she's gone through her own share of it. My woman crush is none other than my friend and sister, a record-breaking and record-setting Funke Akindele. For those that do not know her, she is an accomplished Nigerian actor and film producer with a lot of awards and laurels in the industry. She is my WCW because of her tenacious spirit and professionalism. I am privileged to work with her, and I would confidently tell you that when it comes to work, she's someone that I would doff my heart for any day. If I remove it practically, because she is like a one-woman army. Ask me what department Funke does not know. Even to her camera angles, she's watching, she's directing, she's an actor on set, she knows costumes, she's producing, she's doing set design.
You know,
she's a very hands-on producer.
You know,
totally.
I was going to say that it's interesting that I don't know whether men have Women Crush Wednesdays as well, and I don't know whether we'll get to doing Man Crush Monday. Because as she was talking, I said, the men will feel that we have sidelined them. Not necessarily.
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. A lot of women go through their own challenges.
Oh, yes.
Go through the challenges. Sometimes not as extreme as Gisele, as Giselle's, but they face the challenge. When you talk about Funke, they face, if you've been in the media space and social media space, that is, you'll know that she's had to fight her own battles.
Absolutely.
Directly, indirectly. So women are fighting their own pockets of battle. So when we we say we're putting a woman out there, it doesn't mean we're negating other women who are there. It's just that these are the ones that readily come to us, and they've done something to strike a chord, and that resonates with us. So this goes to my Woman Crush Wednesday, and for that, my accolades go to Blessing Ifeoma Egbe. She's an incredibly talented filmmaker and advocate for women. When I heard Lolo talk about Funke, I said, funny enough, our Women Crush Wednesdays are similar. Because these two women are in the film industry. Now, her ability to tell believable stories in the most beautiful of ways, for me, sets her apart from the bunch. I mean, she's a former model who's walked runways in Nigeria, in Africa, in Asia, and in the Americas. She's unafraid to go left when everyone else goes right, which is a characteristic that's both admirable and inspiring. So in local parlance, she's a true Jasiri woman. She's bold, she's confident, and she's fearless.
And you know, when you talk about both Blessings, and particularly Funke, as we are in this industry, we've heard the rumors.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know what it is about women in particular that when they get to a certain level and there's a demand for excellence, there's a demand for a certain standard and accountability, she's difficult to work with. She's too demanding. Clinic on something. Meanwhile, if it's a man, people will be applauding those attributes.
Yes.
That he's assertive, he's in control, he's a leader. But you change it to a woman, she's too bossy.
Exactly.
You know that
she's difficult.
And you know, it's a conversation around we don't put those attributes in the same light when it comes to women. We only expect, and those are characteristics. They're not gender characteristics.
No, they're just
characteristics of leadership and individual. And I have to give it to Funke. I've heard the stories.
She doesn't back down for no one.
And we have seen where that has taken her. And oftentimes you will have to tell people it's my way or the highway when your name and your reputation is on the line.
And you know, when you work closely with someone, I like it when a woman, one day I wrote on one of her posts, I said, a queen with visible proof. Nobody can gainsay the fact that she has walked herself out to be able to stand on the pedestal
she's on, and it's undeniable.
You cannot mix business and pleasure. It's business, it's strictly business, nothing personal. It doesn't mean no one's shading you. They just listen, business and
you know the thing is, I think it's because I think women get that because we are unfortunately put on a pedestal that we didn't ask to be put on. And it's a pedestal of not morality, but almost like women are supposed to be extra human. We're like angels, where men are like human beings. And there's this
We're supposed to nurture.
We're not
We're supposed to raise our voice. We're not supposed to shout.
Please don't say that. Don't remind me of who said that. You always talk like a girl when I call him on the phone.
So when a woman behaves like a human being and takes up space, all of a sudden she looks like a man, and people don't like that, especially other women who haven't come into that boldness and into that being of themselves. So I mean, it's gonna take me into my own Woman Crush Wednesday because this woman embodies boldness, being present, taking up space. And so it's a wonderful and rare feeling to be moved by someone's writing. And one of the women who really moves me is Chimamanda Adichie. The award-winning author has written a series of books and short stories that address the delicate space of femininity, feminism, and female power that empowers multiple generations of women to reconsider what it means to be a woman in today's world. She challenges women to consider a different perspective of womanhood. She's multifaceted in so many regards, not only as a successful author, but also as a mother, a wife, a daughter, and an activist. She's a perfect representation of what it means to bring your whole self to the table, wherever it is you find yourself. Her sharp intellect shines in her brilliant work, which consistently respects and pays tribute to her roots. And she also applies high emotional intelligence to everything that she does. It shows in all her projects, tapping her unbridled passion for pushing the cultural conversation about women forward. Chimamanda Adichie is as motivating as it gets when it comes to a woman who tells it like it is, but more importantly, who tells it like it needs to be said. And this is why she's my Woman Crush Wednesday.
I love it.
Today's her birthday. I think she's turning 47.
I love it. You know, I didn't know she was married for the longest time.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people like me got to know she was married when she was pregnant.
Yeah, and you're like,
And
oh.
they're like, what? The feminist is married? Yeah, you know, that had been
saying you have.
You know, you like a man?
It tells you that, listen, women can be
Multifaceted.
You can be everything you want to be. You can be a wife and love your husband and take care of him and attend to him, but show up in your professional capacity and own that space without any regret or without any apology.
Absolutely.
And she does that.
It's just like when I tell
Yeah.
people that Mrs. is not like an appellation we should wear like, oh.
It's not a character.
It's not a
Not.
character. It's just one of the many roles you take up. Just like you're a wife to your husband, you're a mother to your children, you are a boss to your colleagues or in your workspace. So women exist in different capacities. And it's so wonderful to see women that take the entire space.
Oh, yeah.
And Chimamanda Adichie is one of those
She
people
takes
that
space.
when she enters a room, my sister,
She owns
you
that
better
room.
recognize
Yep.
because
You know,
she would take over the atmosphere
There are
and everybody's must look at her.
Listen, you're going to listen.
There are so many strong women.
Absolutely.
When Annie was talking about Chimamanda just now, I just thought there's so many women we haven't even recognized on the Jasiri table.
Oh,
and as she
come
was
on.
talking, I was just remembering them.
So
Mo
many.
came to my mind.
Oh, yes. I almost put Auntie
Oh my
Shafi's
God,
baby.
yes. Auntie Mo Abudu's birthday
yeah.
was 60.
There's so
Do you
many.
know
And
what
this
it-
one, that is looking
There's
at staying
so
within
many.
Nigeria.
Yes.
We are blessed. There's so many outstanding women. Look at Kate Henshaw.
Yes.
Let's not even go far.
Yeah.
Women who are ready to stand up for what
And
is right.
use their voice.
Like Annie says, use your
their
voice.
voice.
Own your space.
Space, yeah.
We need, and that's what we need to teach our
The
young
next
girls.
generation.
We need to
Don't shrink for anybody.
nobody. In fact, when they push, the one thing you have to do, make sure you push back. Never shrink. You are not a wallflower. Don't go silently into the night and say that's what it means to be a woman.
No.
No, you're not, because every woman that comes forward and paves the way, she's making room for other
the
young
young
girls.
women to walk
on
Other
the
young
path.
girls, yes.
Absolutely. And you know, when Lola was saying the Mrs. thing, it's really interesting. I don't know how far people will take it. A man will be Mr. for his entire life once he's a man. But first you're a Miss, you're a Mrs., and then you're still a MS.
MS, right there.
And I'm like, what? Just give me one. Just give me one. And let me say about Chimamanda, man, one other thing that she serves is she serves the looks.
Listen.
She serves, Chimamanda is one of the most stylish.
Yeah.
My God. And I like the way how she represents
Sense of style.
Nigeria. Is
Yes.
it her hair? Is it her clothing? I always remember that time. I think it was a French interviewer that she took on who asked a very silly
Dumb question, and she called her out right there.
without having to raise her voice,
Called
without
her out
anything,
right
and she
there.
put her in her place. And I think we need to recognize, because there's a femininity that you can see is very obvious with her. A femininity that's very obvious with Funke. A femininity that's very obvious with Blessings as well. You don't have to lose your femininity to be a woman who stands in her place.
Yeah,
You don't
absolutely.
have to be.
And if you want to be, if you're boyish, there's nothing wrong with that either.
It doesn't matter. We wear our heels.
I love
and
this
we run
conversation.
too.
All right,
Guys,
move on.
there's no better way and no better place to celebrate bold, courageous, and fearless women than right here on Jasiri. Thank you to all the ladies we mentioned today. And for those we didn't mention, it's just because we're so many. It doesn't mean that you're dimmed in our sight, no. But thank you for being your leading lights in your own way and inspiring women around the world. Now, don't forget, today is an open phone lines day. When we come back after the break, we take a look at the newly unveiled Unity fabric, fan club, bags of rice for ministers in the Tinubu cabinet, and so much more. There's a lot to unpack, like Lolo says. Join the conversation after the break.
Thank you immensely for staying with us. Remember, today our phone lines are open, so please, we implore you to join the conversation by calling us on 705-572-7272. Very simple numbers, and it's scrolling right on your screen. And you also get you can also get across to us on our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. So please do us the play, enter into our space and let's talk. Now, let's get into our story. Discussing our women crushes left me with a good feeling, especially for how women were inspiring each other, whether those we know directly or those we admire from afar. But ladies, I am disappointed, really.
Why?
So none of you could pick the mother of the nation.
For the women
None of you on this table could pick the mother of the nation, our First Lady,
planter?
our dear First Lady, Madam Remi Tinubu. And didn't you see the national unity fabric she unveiled for everyone to wear on October 1st as a symbol of national unity? It's very demure, very mindful, very presentable. You know, what is it? Hasn't she done enough? Look at the splendor. Look at the beauty, the color, the green.
I really beg someone to take this camera off me now. I promise.
No,
Do you not appreciate the design?
Very quickly.
The design was demure on the woman. It was very modest. And the colors actually worked together.
Oh, God, I need to get it right.
Wait. Let me give you details because...
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
Go ahead.
There's always more.
Go ahead.
So here are the details. Now, the First Lady launched this One Nigeria Unity fabric at the State House on Monday. She said that this brilliant idea was inspired by her visit to Zimbabwe last year, December, where she saw them do something similar. And she said that this unity fabric will be worn across the country on October the 1st to celebrate Nigeria's Independence Day anniversary. Now, there have been several reactions to this, but the picture you're seeing is of the fabric that was printed for Zimbabwe that the First Lady has referenced. And then, of course, let's look at our own as well. Before we give... No, let's give reactions. I don't trust these ladies. Let's give some reactions on the First Lady's post yesterday. And don't forget, you can also call us and let us know your thoughts on Nigeria's First Lady unveiling national unity fabric. Someone says, okay, tell your husband that Nigerians are passing through hellfire now. Fuel price from 189 naira to over 1,000 naira with a slave minimum wage of 70K, which is yet to be implemented. Do you know how Nigerian workers are surviving? That's one of the feedback. Things we love to see. We go rock on Independence Day, go Aso Rock. Correct? Mama for the people. Is this sarcasm? Because even I'm not sure. Somebody says, beautiful fabric. Congratulations to us Nigerians. It's long overdue. And thank you, Bamidele. This can be used on our national team jerseys too. And thank you, Madam First Lady. God bless Nigeria, my country. He's okay with it. All right, do we have any more of the reactions for this in particular before I unleash the ladies? Someone says the policy is a Band-Aid on a bullet's wound, a superficial solution to a deep-seated problem. Madam First Lady, this your action is a replay of Nero's fiddling while Rome burns, a tragic indifference to the nation's plight. People are hungry. Please don't turn governance into a circus. And finally, before we get to our conversation, Remi Tinubu has discovered the secret to Nigeria's prosperity, the national Ankara. With this revolutionary concept, our economy will surpass that of China, and insecurity will become a thing of the past. What a groundbreaking solution. Nice. But please, I'm calling you one at a time. I don't know if I should let Annie stew.
Yes.
Or let her go before she blows.
No, please let her go.
Let me stew.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Stew.
I don't think you should stew. Annie, please go ahead.
Do we remember a couple of years ago when the worst we thought we could get was a woman who sat in the president's or the seat of the president's wife and said,
There is God, oh!
At least that one was funny.
You know, people say they miss Patience
I
Goodluck Jonathan.
do remember that we thought that was the worst we could get.
Yep.
The first people are hearing from the mother of the nation is, oh, I planted a garden in my home. You should do that too so that you won't starve. How many people can afford a home that has enough space to have a garden? The next thing we hear from her is, guess what, ladies? Let's go and find Ankara to wear. Are we going to eat? Are we going to put it in our pots and boil the Ankara with palm oil and eat? I can't believe how proud of foolishness we are in this country. I can't believe it. I'm actually very angry. I'm trying to control myself. You tell people
please, my
don't
tablet
have food to eat.
Yes.
that the thing they should do on their independence of what? I don't know. Are we independent of foolishness, independent of mediocrity, independent of the slavery mentality that we have? What exactly are we independent of? And then you tell them, you know what the solution is? Take this probably fabric, ugly, horrible looking, cheap piece of fabric. This is what's going to make Nigeria better. We are a bunch of clowns.
Which way, Nigeria? Which way
to go? But we haven't known that they're selling their car.
Tomorrow, they will ask us why we don't put more women in places of government. And the woman that is there, what is the one thing she's
Did you vote for her? She was not.
Did I vote for who?
Exactly. So the First Lady is not voted for. Because of what she said. She says they'll ask, why do we not put more women in places of government? She's a First Lady.
No,
it's a titular title.
No, it's titular. But if you are a functional human being, you will use that position to your advantage and show why more women should be in positions of power. The thing you will come out with is not a piece of fabric.
So I will agree with Annie, and I thought, because I thought about this, and this conversation we constantly have about First Ladies, I think that there is a place for the First Lady in Nigeria.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily saying a whole budgetary allocation, because we can't forget that just a few days ago, a report came out that the government has spent approximately 701 million naira to fund foreign trips for Remi Tinubu to 5 countries in the past few months. 701 million naira. There was controversy initially before that the government had budgeted 1.5 billion naira for the procurement of vehicles for the office of the First Lady. But the former chief whip of the National Assembly, Ali Ndume, said that that budget was for vehicles for the presidency and not actually the office of the First Lady. And remember, there's no law in Nigeria that supports the First Lady's office.
No, there isn't.
In many countries, there's no law.
There isn't. No.
But it is an honor because you assume that the man who has become president or leader has a wife who's going to use her position as soft power. So this conversation, I want us to be able to separate the conversation around us having a First Lady versus what First Lady Remi Tinubu is doing.
I think Annie was
Annie wants to blow again.
Explaining it. I understood exactly where she was coming from, because, Madam, you are in a position of authority.
Power.
Whether or not
of influence.
Into it, you were voted into it, that's not the issue. You are there. If you want women to enter governance, what are you doing? Your actions are even pushing them further away from. Jasiri on the streets, we were on the streets recently. To get women to even say their piece was a tall order. Instead, it was the Gen Zs. Incidentally and ironically, the Gen Zs, the young women of today, are the ones that are speaking up. And I had an encounter with a young girl who was asking questions. And I get carried away by, I stood in there and I just had to wrap it up because she was asking me a lot of pertinent questions. And I was like, you go, girl. Let's go and sell.
So what is in our head now?
Yes, we have market to sell. We'll be back.
Let's sell market and come back.
Because
what's
Lola
in
has
our head is fabric. Do you want to go before? Because I mean, I just
no.
Says it.
Please join the conversation because the vibrations on the table today are something else. Now, earlier, Lolo had asked whether or not the First Lady of Nigeria has done enough. Obviously, for Annie, the answer is no. She has not done enough. Because yesterday, she had another launch. Let's just make sure we add all the stories together. On Tuesday, First Lady Remi Tinubu presented membership cards, handbooks, and farming tools to students from schools in the FCT, unveiling the Young Farmers Club. She describes this as a promising step towards reviving Nigeria's agricultural heritage, creating employment opportunities, and ensuring food security. She also highlighted agriculture's historical significance in Nigeria, referencing the groundnut pyramids, cotton plantations, and other key crops like cocoa and palm oil that once formed the backbone of the economy. She finished saying, by introducing farming at an early age, the Young Farmers Club aims to inspire a new generation to embrace agriculture, leveraging modern technologies and mechanization.
All right, so in addition to in addition to that, she also revealed that the Young Farmers Club will kick off in 12 schools in the FCT and that plans are ongoing to take it nationwide with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the Food Security offering financial and technical support. She encouraged schools to register through the state's First Ladies for support and resources. Now, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, noted that the initiative would focus on training the youth in modern farming techniques to address issues like climate change, sustainability and precision farming. Annie, you're right.
No,
No, please let Lolo, because Annie's going to blow again.
You know, every time I look at this country, I'm always thinking, and I'm logically trying to follow what they're doing. Half of the time, we're looking for just photo op opportunities, which are not bad. At least we have to be able to see what you're doing. And some of these policies that they bring about have good undertones. There is nothing wrong with encouraging people to go back to farm. To encourage, is Farmers Club new?
No.
To me, I went to Anglican Girls Grammar School in Ijebu-Ode. So Farmers Club is not new. We've always had it. Every department, every class has some of these initiatives. But most of the time, I'm wondering that who makes up their cabinet that thinks of these less than genius ideas, and they revamp it and just paint over something that is already dead and bring it out again like revamped. Everybody, I think this is a narrative among the first ladies, because everybody is talking about going back to farm. We're all going back. You don't need to tell us. We are hungry.
Sorry.
So whether anybody likes it or not, it is a personal initiative you have to take for your family's sake to be home to farm and do individual farming so that you can sustain your family, since you cannot sustain your family again through the nation. So would you think of something that you would do for your family so that your family will not starve? And every time I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the beautiful fabric, give and take. Honestly, the combination of colors are beautiful. But is that not somebody's contract already?
Yes, there's a young lady that I think, gave money to who won this thing. But please, Annie wants to blow. I haven't spoken before you blow, Annie. I understand what Lolo is saying.
We have Friday from Nasarawa.
Friday, please. Friday from Nasarawa, please join the conversation.
Friday from Nasarawa.
Hello, Friday. Are you with us?
Friday.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
I want to thank Anne for all the contribution. What she has just said. She did not play the eye service of Omotude. The way Omotude talk about the First Lady. I'm boiling. When Nigerians are on fire, people are dying of hunger. You are praising your family individual. Maybe you are looking for appointment. It's not proper. It's not good. And God will bless you. Continue to voice out your mind. God will prosper you. When you see the truth, you speak to the truth. I don't be praising when people are dying of hunger. Then somebody is knocking Ankara. What is Ankara? When people are dying of hunger. Thanks and God bless you, Anne.
Thank you, Friday. I just want to clarify, again, if you heard, I said let us separate the conversations about having a First Lady versus what First Lady Remi Tinubu is saying. I want to come to what Lolo said. Lolo talked about repackaging, these ideas, everything. They're fine. But I think there is a dissonance and a disconnection that happens with our people in power, with politicians in Nigeria once they enter the place. I don't remember, I can't remember which spokesperson of a president came out and talked about the fact that he believes that there are spirits in Aso Rock. They basically just confuse them. They make them completely separated from the people. Because as you said, there's nothing wrong with bringing out a fabric for October 1st. But you cannot bring out a fabric for October 1st right now when Friday has said it. People are starving. People cannot eat. I heard a woman on radio talking about the fact that she eats every 2 days because her kids need to eat. Then her and her husband eat. They skip days so that their kids can eat.
That has never happened in the country.
I really do beg.
I'm touching. I just do like this. I want to talk, please.
You know, Lola talked about the farmers' clubs. This is the question I want to ask anybody in government who is willing to answer. Is the question about getting more farmers into the farm or getting more bandits away from the farm instead of having people go there and die because there is no security. There is no proper provision for storage of the things that are being farmed.
We're still struggling with irrigation.
So you're telling young people now, younger people who are less equipped to defend themselves, guess what? I'm going to give you fabric that you will take to the farm and wear when they will go and kill you. Thank you, Madam First Lady.
That's for celebration.
You see,
that's for celebration.
They will celebrate it on October 1st, and then they will wear it to the farm.
But what are we going to celebrate on October 1st?
You see, that's what I'm saying.
Nigeria's independence.
Independence of what?
Independence from
what?
the coloniality.
From what?
colonialism.
Lolo, please talk gently because Annie is...
Have you ever seen me this angry?
Please.
Of course, nobody would ever argue. Maybe a lot of people would think that, oh, we're just bringing out all the nuances of this and how disheartening it is for us to just watch. I'm looking at the amount of money they would have said they spent on providing for kids and
Wait. We have Clara. We have another caller. We have caller Clara. We have Clara calling from Maiduguri. Clara, please talk to us this morning.
She has gone to collect her.
And she's calling from Maiduguri. This is also would have been a fantastic time to check in with the folks in Maiduguri. Let us, because I know.
Call us back if
again they were giving bags of rice, and people have asked, you're giving bags of rice to people who have no more home.
Hey, but that's the thing.
You want me to launch out of this studio?
Tolu mentioned 2 words. One was already in my head before she made her submission. Yeah. That was disconnect, and Tolu was spot on.
Yeah.
I don't care which spirits are flying in Aso Rock. I really don't give two.
No, they need to. But you know that there might be spirits, because a lot of you are not spiritual. This is a house that ants are eating furniture that they have to revamp totally. This is a place that lion and snakes.
She's speaking French now.
I've swallowed money, and you are telling me that the Aso Rock does not need deliverance? Where are the chosen ones?
It's okay.
That would help us to deliver, because some of these actions are not natural. It's not natural. So it might be a spirit that was whispering that we need a unity Ankara. So if the chosen ones enter Aso Rock, honestly, maybe we will not need this Jasiri table. And would be able to...
let Cafe talk, because she has entered the French realm now.
No, attends,
Exactly.
Je m'en fous. I don't... What I'm saying is that, let me wait a little. I don't care about what's going on there. Ça ne me dérange pas. It doesn't bother me. Ça te dérange? Does it bother you? Are you the one in authority there? No.
Why can it not bother me?
No, wait. You are not there. So what I'm saying is I don't care about what it is that they are. Whether it's spirits are flying, whether you close your eyes in the night and you see owls and bats.
Python swallow money.
That's not the issue. The issue is that there's a massive disconnect from government and the people. And a lot of people are saying, oh, I don't know why the First Lady would think that this is what we need at the moment. Why wouldn't she think so? When we have encouraged, enabled, given free rein to this kind of mad behavior, where you feel that for people who are struggling to feed themselves, feed their families, a woman is eating every 2 days. Do you know what that means? Because so she can partition and arrange so that her children eat first before she eats, and then her husband eats. And you think at this point, what we need as a people now clothes.
Why won't you want to cover your nakedness?
Hey, Jesus.
It's a pertinent thing.
Covering
your nakedness.
I get it now.
At least when you are not naked, when you cover yourself with the Ankara and they give you rice, that's two-edged sword, though.
Are you eating raw rice? Do you know the cost of gas right now?
But you know that when you see there are many functionalities to cloth that you are not looking at.
Maybe I should burn it
if you
to cook
put
the rice.
some of the cloth inside your wooden stove, won't it burn a little, Tolu?
And
It's a functional thing.
I'm done.
It
I'm
helps.
done.
The raw rice in your pot with small Ankara, you just cut some.
Okay.
And some paper in your house, and you put your pot. Rice will be ready.
So for you
What has she not done for you? Okay. Do you want her blood? Wow. She created a beautiful... Did you see the color combination?
Okay, so
olive green.
So you would buy
on top of that
so you would buy the outfit and you would advise Nigerians.
Would you not be freely given?
We need to move on to the next story. Okay. But I need to say this, Lolo, be careful walking on the streets of Lagos today.
Yes.
Because people's blood is hot. And all this one that you're saying, be careful walking on the streets of Lagos.
If you are walking on the streets of Lagos looking resplendent and demure in a beautiful Ankara, how can that annoy people?
We need
I'm going to this story.
Yeah.
The Bible says what God has joined together, no man should put asunder. So if we talked about the First Lady, we got to talk about President Bola Tinubu now.
Come on.
Now, while the First Lady wants to unite Nigerians with the unveiling of a unity fabric to be worn on October the 1st, the President is offering succor to the people in these tough times in another way, through his ministers. Now, in case you missed it, President Bola Tinubu has given 1,200 bags of rice to each of his 45 ministers as distribution for palliatives. This was revealed by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, I think it is Dr. Dele Alake, as a decision of the presidency to respond to the yearnings of the Nigerian people to make food available at the grassroots, especially for the vulnerable members of the society like older citizens. The channels for distribution include state governments and civic organizations. 45 ministers times 1,200 bags of rice is 54,000 bags in total. Lolo, you have the equation.
Anyway, a bag of rice ranges depending on the brand and the type you're buying from 50 kg bags. Those range from about 100,000 to around 70,000 naira. So let's use like 80,000 naira for this equation. 54,000 bags of rice times 80,000 naira is 4.32 billion naira. Ms. Alake said that these bags of rice will be channeled to the aged only. He also said that there will be subsequent intervention. It will target other segments of the populace, such as the widows, the orphans, people living with disabilities, and students in higher institutions of learning.
I want to clarify. Mr. Alake said that his bags of rice will go towards aged people. He is one of 40-something ministers. We don't know where their own bags of rice are going. Why is the president giving ministers bags of rice? Well, and then distribution is still going to be through state governments and civic organizations. Why are you not allowing the state governments to do it directly? Why are the civic organizations? What is the input of having the ministers, first of all, take control of the bags of rice?
So that
has 1,200 bags of rice per minister.
Maybe he wants accountability.
Has Ajero been
Yes, he's
No, don't you have to
He
use the
wants
bathroom?
accountability.
You need to use the bathroom. No.
He wants accountability so that if he gives them 1,002, I can question the minister that where did you put the 1,200 bags?
So my question is this, if anybody can answer this question, I won't say another word. When was the last census that was carried out in Nigeria?
Is it not before election?
They were talking about census before the 2023 election that has been over 10. It should have been more than a decade.
More than a decade.
So we don't know what our current population is. We also don't know within that broad number what the category of older people is to young good. But it is expected that these bags of rice are going to go to the aged
or the vulnerable.
Or the vulnerable, people living with disability, orphans, widows. Those are vulnerable people in society. That 1,200 bags should be able to reach.
You're politicizing hunger.
Yeah.
Again,
in a nutshell,
if we don't know how many of these people even exist, we don't even just know the simple figure. How exactly is this a solution to the problem? Are we saying each person gets a bag of rice?
No.
Each family gets a bag of rice?
Definitely. That's why I said accountability. No, so that if they give each Derika, did you go to market last week?
Okay, so it's per
If it's a Derika, we don't have
the details because the bags go to the ministers. The ministers will decide how they work with state governments
because 1,200 bags.
Now the minister's job, this is now their work. Their work is to focus on dividing
1,200 bags of rice
and how that is supposed to be done, whether it is per Derika can or per Naira.
Because if they give 1,000 bags, 1,200
it's only 1,200.
It's only 1,200 people.
No, but
so we have to make Derika to put it. Do you know those bags of rice?
No,
that
you perhaps a spokesperson. No,
do you actually expect anybody on the planet on the face of planet Earth to take Nigeria seriously? No, anyone.
Do we take ourselves seriously?
No, that's what I'm saying. Listening to this, should anyone? What is the weakest country that exists?
North Korea.
The weakest country?
Maybe North Korea.
Should
North Korea?
Maybe. I said maybe.
North Korea.
Weakest.
No, I said weakest. Weakest in terms of economy.
It's North Korea. They're completely shut off from the world.
They are successful.
The tyrant that rules them.
What is your metric of success?
That's a bigger conversation.
So please, let's go back to what you're saying.
You want us to answer such a difficult question?
Even the clown country of the world, we won't name names, wouldn't take Nigeria seriously. And we deserve it.
We have a phone call and caller from Port Harcourt, Cyril David. Please join the conversation. Good morning to you. Oh my God! See, when we were on radio, we used to say goblins and wizards and things. There's something going on with the phone lines.
because everybody has to get in line for the Ankara.
They're calling for the Ankara. The phone lines are jammed.
I doubt if our First Lady cannot ask us to buy it. She knows that there's hard economy. Okay, so they will distribute it through your ministers.
Okay, so you distribute these things through your minister. How are we sure that ministers will not carry their bags of rice and give girlfriends and give wives? And
do you remember what happened during COVID? COVID palliative situation is never far from my mind when I think about the wickedness of Nigerian politicians.
I don't even want you to use
inside
the word
warehouses.
I do not even want us to
ended up rotting.
They were rotting.
And people could not give food.
Look at the way palliative turned Nigerians into animals.
Yes.
People were falling over themselves, climbing over walls
to access food, their names and take responsibility for it.
No. Yet, guess what? There's a flood, we send them rice. There's a protest, we send them rice. A building crashes down, we send them rice.
We send them money even.
But rice is easy to share unlike bread.
No. In Maduguri, there was a counselor or somebody who was throwing bread to people who were stuck in the houses.
But if you threw the bread and it fall in water, you might not be able to salvage it. But if rice fall, you can still wash it and cook
We have Daniel calling us from Lagos. Daniel, please, we need a break from ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah. Good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, we need a break from ourselves.
Well done. Ladies in the house, well done.
So much for calling. Good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Daniel, calling from Surulere. I would like to join the conversation. Can I go back to the last story you talk about, Remi Tinubu?
Go ahead.
There's nothing that will surprise me about our First Lady, to start with, and I speak with a lot of emotions here. And it just goes to show that these people are indeed clueless, and I say it with the deepest sense of respect. Let me give you one fact you probably don't know. There's a spelling bee competition in Lagos State, and I speak with all authority because I got involved, and this happened to my child. It is not possible for a non-Lagosian, or let me just say a non-Yoruba, to go into that competition. When my child was asked to do it for his school, compete with others, my sister told me, don't waste his time. Let him concentrate on his book. And I was like, no, now, let him do it. And interestingly, he got the ticket to represent his school. Him and one or two other people, their names were sent. His was rejected. I'm from Akwa Ibom. Let me start with that. I speak Yoruba very well because I was born here. He was rejected. And my sister said, didn't I tell you? When I asked his teacher later on what actually happened, she started apologizing that she didn't know. They do not allow non-Lagosians or non-Yoruba to take part in that. The competition is organized by the First Lady Remi Tinubu. It's on record. I say it clearly. I know I'm on public space right now. Just the same way in Lagos State right now, you will be shocked to know that it is rare for you in public schools, my kids are in public schools, to see a non-Yoruba emerge as head boy, head girl, no matter how good you are. Quote me anywhere. In my time, in the days of my principal, 2 sets before me, my set, 2 sets after me, were all non-Yorubas. In fact, strangely in my set, the 2 were quite bomb, the head boy and head girl, because they were detribalized. Our principal was a Muslim, a Yoruba person, a Muslim school. He was totally detribalized. It wasn't a religious bigot. But that is not what is happening here today. Today is totally different. And it is sad. And you say you want unity. This is not how to go about unity. You bring divisions every now and then. Going to that of our president, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 36 people were reported killed in the north. Our president was in China at that time. No government, no responsible head, quote me, will hear that has happened in their country and remain for a business trip, no matter how important that business trip was. You will go back home immediately. The country that you have was to host you will respect you for that and reschedule a meeting. But what happened in our own instance? our president stayed. He stayed, and from there, he went to England. That is how sensitive our government is. We keep watching. We know. I read international relations appreciably. So I understand these things. I understand how it is done. I understand what should be done. And we have that metrics for measuring and comparing. Is this right? Is this how it should be done? Is it the proper thing to do? But they keep making this mistake. I wonder whether they have clues about governance at all.
Or not. Daniel, I apologize for interrupting you. Our time is almost out. We have just barely 2 minutes or so to the show, but we do appreciate you watching and also calling to participate. Yes. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you as well. I know we had an earlier caller from Nasarawa, and Clara tried to get in as well. Ladies, I'd like to give each person... We had other stories because we talked about social media in recent times, and now a social media platform is introducing a teens account. We'll get into that another day. But ladies, I said let's do like 30 seconds because today has been about the first family. The First Lady and the presidents of Nigeria, and their actions for many people just seem to be completely disconnected with what is happening to the average Nigerian and our wants. Catherine, I'll start with you. Just wrap it up beautifully. What are your final thoughts on this?
I really, my thoughts are everywhere, to be honest, because I think there's so much more we can do and better approaches to things like this. I would say that if we want to change, we have to do things differently. Read between the lines, guys. We have to do things differently. Complaining and talking about it and expending energy on it doesn't change jack. If you want to do something, you have to be intentional about doing something. So for me, I think if something is broken, it's not fixable. If something is not working, change the formula. How you want to change the formula is up to you.
Annie?
To the president and everyone associated with this government, stop forgetting what it means to be human. You are dealing with human beings. Stop treating people like animals. Because one day, enough will truly be enough. And people will not back down. It wouldn't matter what it costs them. It wouldn't matter. Because if they've lost everything, then they have nothing left to lose.
I think this country, most of our leadership is surrounded by yes men. Because when any policy, anything is brought on the table, there is a team around them that should be able to push back and say, this is a terrible idea. It cannot work. But because everybody is afraid for their bellies, that is why you see some of these things will see the light of day. It just shocks me sometimes, the things that pass through, how we can just let this slip through. It's as if the people surrounding them are setting them up for destruction. And that is what they're doing. And as long as this keeps happening, they will become isolated. The people will become irate. And that revolution we fear would suddenly come upon us in Nigeria. And whether people like it or not, when people are hungry and angry at the same time, is a very combustible combination.
At the end of the day, we're approaching another Independence Day celebration. But Nigerians don't have a lot to celebrate. You have a government that is disconnected and must work to connect itself back. And we know humans have an elastic limit. Nigerians have been stretching that limit just to be able to ignore what the government does. Right now, you're making yourself unignorable. And when Nigerians turn towards you and there's no more give in that limit, all of us will bear the consequences. We'll see you tomorrow.